So here we are going to analyze the last year's language paper. So here is the analysis. The first question is, write a composition in approximately 400 to 450 words on any one of the following. Now, please understand, 6 topics have been given, and out of these 6, you are supposed to write on any one of the following, right? And there are different kinds of compositions. Okay, these compositions are different kinds of compositions. Now, a composition is always marked on the basis of 2 things. One is the content, another thing is expression. Expression means your linguistic ability. Linguistic ability means how grammatically correct sentences you form, what kind of vocabulary you use, whether your punctuation is up to mark or not. So all that comes under expression. And content is the points that you write. You know, the way you form the body of your composition, content is that only. Okay, now content is always for 12 marks out of 20 and expression is always for 8 marks out of 20. 12 plus 8 makes 20 marks for composition. 12 marks of content are needed to be further divided into what all has been asked in the question. Okay, so how is it? Let me tell you. Let us see the first question, what it says. You had to cycle home through the town on the day of a festival. Describe the sights, the sounds, and the mood of the people around you. What were your feelings at the end of the ride? Now, first of all, you are given the situation, and the situation says you had to cycle home through the town on the day of a festival. Now, please understand, it clearly mentioned on the day of a festival. So, you need to mention the festival. Okay, you need to tell the festival that you are going to write about. All right. So one thing is the festival that has been asked. Then describe the sights, what you see, the sounds, and the mood of the people around you, and what were your feelings. So in particular, they have asked 4 things. One is the sights. You know, they have asked for the description of 4 things: sights, sounds, mood of people around you, and your feeling at the end of the ride. But all this will be in vain if you do not mention the festival, because whatever you see has to be according to that festival. आप दिवाली की बात करोगे तो आपके चारों तरफ लाइट्स का आपको मेंशन करना मैंडेटरी है, आपको क्रैकर्स का साउंड मेंशन करना मैंडेटरी है. Okay, if you write about any other festival, it can be a national festival also, it can be a religious festival also, ceremonial festival also. So that completely depends on the festival that you are going to mention about. Okay, now see, look at the comments of the examiners, what they say. First, about the first topic, many candidates attempted a composition on the topic which required them to describe a cycling experience through a town during a festival. However, several candidates missed out on one or more aspects of the composition, such as sight, sound, mood of the people, and their feelings. So 4 things have been asked. Now what happens? See, the child has written a lot about the sight, but very less about sound. So you are not going to get all 4 in 4 about the sound. If you, sorry, 4 things have been asked, it means 3 marks for each point. And 3 marks are there for sight, 3 are there for sound, 3 are there for mood of the people, and 3 marks are there for the feeling, your feelings. Okay, अब आपने साइट के बारे में तो बहुत भर भर के लिखा है और साउंड के बारे में आपने बहुत कम बात की है. You have written only one thing about it. So what do you think? You will be able to get all 3 points, all 3 marks when you have written only one thing? No, you need to amplify these points. So what I suggest, always form different paragraphs. आप एक पैराग्राफ साइट का बना दीजिए, एक पैराग्राफ साउंड का बना दीजिए, एक पैराग्राफ मूड ऑफ द पीपल अराउंड यू वो डिस्क्राइब करिए, एंड मेक अनदर पैराग्राफ अबाउट योर फीलिंग्स एट द एंड. Okay, this is what I suggest. Now see what they say. Some candidates focus too much on the cycle or the festival itself, neglecting the fact that the ride took place through a town. Each and every word of the question matters. Each and every word. See, you had to cycle home through the town. So you mentioned about the cycle, you mentioned about the festival also, but you haven't mentioned anything about the town. आपने कहीं पे town का नाम ही नहीं डाला, आपने बताया ही नहीं आप किस town की बात कर रहे हैं. So in that way you will be missing something from the content and it will deduct your marks. So read each and every word of the question carefully, underline whatever you feel that you need to mention. Okay, plan your composition. The description of sights and sounds were generally good, but the people's moods and the candidates' personal feelings were often overlooked. Some candidates wrote about a general festival day without involving themselves, and others provided flashback accounts which may not have been age appropriate. So, your composition has to be age appropriate also. Age appropriate means that it should be appropriate to the age. You are 17, 18 years old, right? Up, so no, let me tell you, because I myself also went for correction. What happened? One of the students, he wrote, instead of writing about a festival, he wrote about a marriage and his own marriage. That is not possible. So please write the things that have to be age appropriate. Overall, most students attempted these topics, and those who paid attention to the key points mentioned in the topic had the opportunity to score well. However, a few students misunderstood the concept of a festival and wrote about competitions or other unrelated topics. So, what else do we come to know about the composition from this? That whenever you read the question, please make a note of key points that are there in the question. In this question, a situation is given. उस situation में key points क्या हैं? Cycle key point है. Cycle home. आप घर जा रहे हैं through the town of on the day of a festival. So this situation should also be presented in your composition, that you are going home. Okay. Then through the town you are going home, so the town also has to be mentioned, and on the day of festival, so festival should also be mentioned. Okay, and then you are asked, they have very specifically asked sight, sounds, mood of the people, and your own feelings. So all these points have to be elaborated. They have, and it's always advisable to form different paragraphs for that. Please understand, if you do not form paragraphs, आप एक ही सांस में लिखते चले जाते हो, the whole composition you are writing in one paragraph only, you get -2 for that. Okay, so please don't lose marks like this. Now look at the second question. Second question is always narrative. Okay, it says life is a series of choices that we make every day. Narrate an incident when you had to make a difficult choice. Elaborate on the positive impact it had on you. Now see, this question is a little tricky one. You need to narrate an incident. First of all, it's a narration. And you are narrating. So when you are narrating, you need to tell what, when, where. When, what, when, where. ये तीनों चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट है. What तो इंसिडेंट हो गया. When and where also you need to mention. Okay, you can't overlook that. Now, what kind of incident you have to narrate? When you had to make a difficult choice. आपको क्या करना था? एक choice करना था. You had to choose something. But that choice was difficult for you. Please. Now, here the key point will be difficult choice. Okay, here the key point is difficult choice. Elaborate on the positive impact on you. And then first you made that choice, then it must have some outcome, and those outcomes were positive and they had a positive impact on you. So positive impact is another key point in the question. Okay, now see what kinds of mistakes children made. The topic required the candidates to write a first person narrative. Narrative compositions are always, they have to be in the first person, because here in these compositions, I is the center. Whatever you are narrating, that incident which you are telling, it revolves around you. Okay, so you are the center. So it has to be in the first person narration. So the topic required the candidates to write a first person narrative describing a specific incident where they had to make a difficult choice and emphasize its positive impact on them. However, most of the candidates failed to narrate a single incident and instead wrote general essays about life or various choices they encountered. They often neglected to mention the positive impact resulting from the change. Some essays were not age appropriate, discussing experiences in the job market or reflecting on years of professional success. Many candidates mistakenly wrote about a series of choices instead of focusing on one decision. Additionally, some candidates wrote about others making the choice instead of their own experiences. Furthermore, candidates made errors by elaborating on becoming successful professionals with happy families, which was not relevant to their age group. In terms of linguistic ability, many candidates displayed poor skills. So, linguistic ability, we are going to talk later. Right now, we are focusing on content. Okay. So, you must have seen in this narrative composition what kind of mistakes the students have made. Number one, very specifically, you were supposed to write about an incident when you had to make a difficult choice, a difficult one incident only, about one decision that you take or one choice that you made. Okay. So, and children wrote about many. That would be a mistake. Then the choice has to be difficult. It's not that, see, why difficult? Like most of the students wrote that they had to choose the stream. In class 10th, after class 10, they had to choose a stream, whether science, commerce, or humanities. And how it became difficult because parents wanted something else and the child wanted something else. Okay. So that's fine. That's okay. But if you are writing that you had to make a choice when you are doing a job, that won't be age appropriate, because at this age, it means that it is not your own experience. It clearly means that it's not your own experience. All right. So your compositions have to be age appropriate. Please understand. Whatever you write, please write. Take them from your life, what you feel, write about what you have seen. Okay. So you can't lift it from any of the movies or any storybook or any lesson that you are doing in literature. So please be careful about that. All right, now look at the third composition, which is an argumentative one. A college degree is needed to succeed in life, right? For argue for or against this statement, for or against. A college degree is needed to succeed in life. And some people may say a college degree is not needed to succeed in life. Now let's see what the examiners say when they checked the papers, what kind of mistakes children made. Candidates were expected to take a clear and definitive stand on a given topic in this composition. However, many candidates failed to do so and instead presented arguments from both sides without taking a firm position. See, children, argumentative composition means either side, either for or against. You can't take both. See, for example, you have to give 4 points, है ना? मैंने आपको बताया था content में आप 4 points देंगे and 4 examples to prove those points, right? अब मान लीजिए आपने 3 points you have given for the topic and by chance somehow you have said something which goes against your stand anywhere, so it will be counted as a BI. Means you will be you will have to lose 1/4 of marks obtained, which is too much. So please be very careful about it. There is a difference in argumentative and reflective composition. Argumentative composition are debatable topics. You have to take one stand, either for the topic or against the topic. Reflective means you have to present your reflections. It means you have to talk about both. वहां पर आपको दोनों की बात करना कंपलसरी है. जैसे आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव में आपको सिर्फ एक ही साइड की बात करनी है, रिफ्लेक्टिव में आपको दोनों तरफ की बात करना कंपलसरी है. आप 4 पॉइंट्स देते हैं, चाहे आप 2+2 दे दीजिए, 2 फॉर द टॉपिक, 2 अगेंस्ट द टॉपिक. You can make it 1+3 also, you can make it 3+1 also, that's not a problem. But at least once you should talk about both things. All right, that is reflective composition. So candidates were expected to take a clear and definite stand and they were not able to do that. Those who did take a stand often struggled to provide proper reasons to support their views. They frequently mention examples of successful individuals like Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, and Mark Zuckerberg, who achieved success without college degrees but failed to effectively justify their stances. The composition often became discursive rather than argumentative due to the lack of a clear stand. In some cases, candidates attempted to contradict their initial stand and return to their original position, but their arguments became confusing, making it difficult to understand their final standpoint. Consequently, students lost marks in this topic for the following reasons: writing about both sides of the topic, failing to take a clear stand, providing inadequate examples to support the stand, and not providing four proper examples. Four proper examples have to be provided. It can't be like आप एक सचिन तेंदुलकर को आपने पकड़ लिया और अपने सभी चारों पॉइंट्स में आप उसी का ही एग्जाम्पल दिए जा रहे हो. नो, फोर डिफरेंट एग्जाम्पल्स हैव टू बी गिवन. And the examples that you are giving, you have to be very sure about them, because I also found like children wrote about Narendra Modi saying that he doesn't have any degree, and no, he is graduate, so he has a college degree. Who says that he is not? Many people wrote that he is illiterate and still he has become the Prime Minister of India. This is something wrong. So you can't provide wrong information. Now look at the fourth topic, humor. Now, humor, one word topic is given to you. Whatever comes to your mind regarding the topic, you have to write that. You may treat it like anything. You can treat it like a story also. You can treat it like a descriptive composition also. You can treat it like a narrative. Narrative becomes a story only in a way. All right. So let's see the kind of mistakes. In this topic, some candidates misunderstood the word humor as rumor and wrote about rumor instead of humor. Many candidates provided numerous examples of humor as random incidents, resulting in a collection of incidents rather than a well-structured composition. Only a few candidates attempted this topic, and their misunderstanding of the topic led to incorrect essays. All right. Now the next topic is, one cannot always get what one wants, and sometimes it is for the best. Present your reflections on this statement. So reflections means it's a reflective topic, and here you have to give what you think about this. So in this topic, some candidates the topic required candidates to explore two aspects. One cannot always get what one wants, and sometimes it is for the best. While this was the most popular, yes, many candidates suggested to convey the idea. Some wrote about things they want, while others focused on not getting what they want, often centering around mobile phones as a common theme. The second part of the question was often ignored. Additionally, many candidates wrote stories instead of providing examples to support their views, including life stories or stories about others. Despite these challenges, there was a variety of interesting essays, and most candidates attempted this topic. And it is usually seen that children do a lot of justice with the reflective compositions. They find it easier to write about these topics because they have to talk on both sides about this topic. All right. So as I have told you, in reflective composition, it's not either side. It has to be both sides. Please understand the difference, right? Now look at the last story, original short story that begins with the following words. So the beginning is given. If you don't begin with these words which have been given in the question, you will lose your marks. 1/4 of marks obtained. My mother stopped suddenly at the doorway and stared in amazement at. Okay, now see, in response to the given topic, many candidates mistakenly wrote a narrative essay instead of a short story. Now, what is the difference between a narrative essay and short story? In the narrative essay, I is the center. If you are writing a narration, you are the center. The whole story revolves around you. But in a short story, you cannot be the center. You can be one of the characters, but you cannot be the center of the story. They often missed a few words from the beginning of the sentence or failed to connect their story with the given opening line. The stories lacked the essential elements of a short story, such as plot, setting, characters, dialogues, not compulsory, and a logical ending. The narratives often took the form of a first person account rather than a structured story. Additionally, plagiarism was observed, with some candidates copying from sources like B. Wordsworth or Fritz. Overall, the topic was not well answered, and students would have performed better if they had understood the distinction between a narrative composition and a short story. The endings of the stories frequently lacked a connection to the beginning, further highlighting the difficulties faced by the candidates in addressing the topic appropriately. Okay, so I hope you are able to understand in what way you are supposed to write a composition.